Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and today we've got a cute little lady to talk about. The Spyderco Ladybug. This one happens to be the HAP40 version, but everything we're going to talk about is applicable to the HAP40 version and the ZDP189 version. So come on in here and let's get a look at this pretty little lady. Well, guys, we're going to get a look at this ladybug. You know, sitting there by itself, you could almost mistake it for a delica. Well, okay, maybe not, but with no reference, it doesn't look as small as it is. However, whenever we do stick a delica in here with it, we can see how small that little guy really is, or little lady, I guess we should say. And this is a HAP40 version of the recent sprint run. But everything we're going to talk about is applicable to the ZDP189 version, which would be my choice if you were going to buy one right now, or the VG10 version. However, the only VG10 versions I can find out there are saber ground instead of full flat ground, and to me that would make a difference. In a knife this size, I would give the extra few pennies to get the full flat grind and the ZDP189. You know, the price difference isn't very large, so I would do that. Anyhow, let's get a look at the knife. We've got the standard FRN volcano grip handles from Spyderco. As you know, I like those. And we have a lanyard hole, which also accommodates a keychain quite easily, or like a split ring will fit in there with very little effort. And as we roll it around, my example is not real well centered, but it'll be okay, I suppose. I would like it to be better centered, but you get what you get. And it is a lockback, just like all of Spyderco's small little knives. And we should probably look at the numbers. We have a closed length of 2.5 inches, a thickness of 0.33, a height of 1 inch whenever we have the knife closed. Whenever we open it up, we have an overall length of 4.45, a blade length total of 1.94, and a cutting edge of 1.7. And here's the kicker, a weight of just a smidge over a half an ounce. So this thing really is tiny and lightweight. And for those of you that haven't seen one, this is a HAP40 blade in this model. If I can keep the light on it right there, see that line that goes across just above the edge? It's HAP40 laminate. It's got HAP40 in the middle, and I forget whether it's 420J2. It's got one of the 400 series stainlesses on either side of that HAP40. And that line is where they come together. And it shows whenever they do the full flat grind. Everything below the line is the HAP40. Everything above the line is the laminate. And, it's kind of neat whenever Spyderco gives us one like that with a real hard steel in the middle and the softer steel along the outside. So we get a little bit of that flexibility of the softer steel with the edge holding ability of the harder steel. Anyhow, guys, there it is. It's a very, very small little knife, but it has its place. There are places on this planet where all you can carry is a 2-inch blade, and at 1.94 for the blade, this little guy fits. And it's a much better knife than most of what you're going to find out there with that short little blade. And that covers all the different blade steels. Personally, of the ones available, I would get ZDP189 in the full flat grind, but there are other steels available. You may need the H1 steel if you live out on the coast or around saltwater. One last metric we didn't talk about is this has a blade stock of 0.79. So it's a real thin little blade. And it's a heck of a cutting little blade. And for those of you in those places where a 2-inch blade is all you can have, I'd say this would be a good one. The ergonomics on it are pretty darn good. Just like its brother, the Man Bug, you can get a hold of this thing in a number of different ways. And all of them work pretty good. It's pretty much a 3-finger knife. You get a place for your index finger, your middle finger, and then your ring finger has got a little bit to hang on to. Your pinky finger's got nothing in your standard grip. But it's still pretty comfortable for such a small blade. And you can pinch the thing pretty good. Now, your draw cut grip's going to be a little different because this thing's so small, but I've kind of found that if you get it like that, you'll be alright. And you could even get a hold of it like this. I'm not sure why you'd want to, but if a 2-inch blade's all you have, I suppose you might. Anyhow, at 0.52 ounces and less than 2.5 inches long, closed, this thing belongs on keychains and purses, and for some of you in your pocket. It would do well with that too. I would prefer to have a Swiss Army Classic SD or Rambler in my pocket, but maybe you want a lockback knife in your pocket. This would fit the bill better than most on the market. Because Spyderco does do one thing for us with these little knives. Most other companies that make a knife this size, they give us some kind of cheap steel. Not Spyderco. VG10 is as cheap as you can go in this knife, and I'm no fan of VG10, but for about $10 more, you can get the ZDP 189 version, and I really like that stuff. I really think it's worth the $10. So, if you're in a situation where you need a small lockback knife, I would say that the Ladybug would do you well. Alright guys, after getting a look at this pretty little lady, what's it for? It fits the same roles as the Man Bug. It's a locking pocket knife for those that want a locking pocket knife and don't want to carry like a Swiss Army Classic SD or Rambler or something of that sort. And it's a keychain knife. This lanyard hole will take 550 paracord, and most normal size key rings will go through it as well. Now Susie didn't carry this one around. She did carry a Man Bug around, and her opinion was, for her and her kind of minimalist attitude towards keys, it was a little big. And that would go for this one as well. But for some of you out there, it's going to be just fine on your key ring. So those are some of the uses, and it can also be stuck anywhere. These little knives are small and very good quality. You can put them in the purse, outside zipper pocket on a purse, or if you carry a work pouch, you can put a lanyard on it and stuff this down in the work pouch. Lots of different applications for these knives, especially because they come with good blade steel. And that's something that we need to talk about a little bit with the Ladybug. Whenever I was looking out there at the different versions of this knife, it seems that you can get it in ZDP 189 in full flat grind like this HAP40 version, and you can get it in VG10, but the VG10 is saber ground, and saber ground means that the primary bevel doesn't start till, about halfway down the knife, and then you've got a real steep bevel down to the edge. For a little knife like this, it would probably be okay, but if you have a full flat ground knife, you're probably going to like it better. So I would give the extra $10. So the VG10 version, average price I found was about $36, $37. The ZDP 189 version, about $10 more at around $45, $47. If you're really going to use a knife and you're not just buying it because it's small and cute, I would get the ZDP 189 version, because like this HAP40, that ZDP 189 can be sharpened up just crazy sharp. And once you've got it sharp, it stays sharp for what seems like an eternity compared to VG10 or some of the less expensive steels. So whenever we're only talking about 10 bucks, it's worth it to get that ZDP 189, unless, like me, you're against the British Racing Green. You British guys, love y'all, but British Racing Green, come on. We don't need any more of that. Come on, Spyderco, give us some other colors for the ZDP 189 models. Anyhow, if you're in the market for a very small lockback knife, I really think that this is pretty much the top of the food chain. There may be some other ones out there, but I really didn't see them. If you guys know of some, put it in the comments, drop me a line on social media, or message me here on YouTube and let me know, because I know there are a lot of people out there that really like these small knives for everyday carry, and I'd like to cover some of them. But I really think that the Ladybug and the Man Bug are the pinnacle right now, especially because you can get them in a ZDP 189 steel. And that steel requires a little bit of care. You've got to keep it oiled, watch it. You want to wipe it down after, peeling an apple or any of that sort of thing, because it will rust. But the edge retention on it is well worth the little bit of care and attention you have to give to it. Well, anyhow, guys, that covers the cute little Ladybug, and I really appreciate you stopping by. Hit me up on those social media links. Let me know what you guys have out there. Your knives, guns, and gear. I'd sure like to see it. And while we're here, whack those buttons down there. Give me a like, share, and be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss out on anything. And you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.